Let me clear my throat. Yeah, that's better. That's better. Somebody pass around the offering. Since I'm always preaching on tracks, you feel me? I'm about to get paid for it. Sermon of the day. You right where you supposed to be, baby. Informants informing, that information forming. Important you get a portion of fortune pouring. Confession, fortunately, blessings on now they snoring. You mellow, so focused on scoring. Got your underperforming. I never expect something, never assume nothing. Judging me for my past, but that's why I'm triumphant. I don't demand, I know where I stand like engineer hands. Watch how my life pans. That game plan, show out like a jotter, pop out like a cutter. Telling the quick rock, skipping the course, squares like hopscotch. This gonna be my mood to my beat drop. Putting my boogie shoes in my diddy boots, ain't no stop. I'ma make the rest of my life live. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Congratulations on the celebration. I know I'm dope without a need of a validation. No congratulations on no celebration. I know I'm dope without a need of a validation. Yeah, if having hope is dangerous, call me evil Knievel. I'm leading on the wrong side.
How y'all doing out there? Happy Thursday. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in, everybody. I hope you guys have had a great day. Happy 8th day of 2026. Happy January. Happy Thursday. Happy welcome in, all that stuff. You know, all the good stuff. How's everybody doing? As you know, this is my night, so I'm excited. I'm always excited on Thursdays because we get to spend some time together and we gonna do what, like the song says, we gonna make the rest of our lives the best of our lives. I'm down with that. I was just, I was gonna let it play throughout the whole show tonight. It's kind of a vibe. It got me going. But good evening, everyone. Welcome into Thursday night with me, your girl, Lady Dawn B. I am honored and pleased to be here with you this evening. And I'm so glad that you guys decided to tune in with us per usual. And I hope that January in 2026 has been great to you so far. I know it has been a intense 8 days for me, in a good way. Intensity can be good, So, this year is starting off quite well, and I'm excited about the many, many things that are going to be happening as we go further into the year. And I hope that you are too. I really do. We appreciate you being here with us on tonight. So if you would, please, sir, you know how we do what we do when we do it. If you would hit that thumbs up button, we would appreciate it so very much. It's just in the corner. It is free 99 to you, but it means everything to us. And we appreciate you. Invite a friend. Please take a moment to share. Let's get some more good people up in here on tonight. We started off last week just sharing about welcoming you into 2026, seeing what's new for you, what's happening with you. What are your intentions? I don't have resolutions. I really don't. I don't make them because we rarely keep them. So, I said my thing for 2026 is I'm going to continue finishing what I started. And I'm on that track. That is my overall goal. Whatever I start, I'm going to finish. Not giving it any specific labels, titles, none of that. But just whatever I start, I am going to finish this year. I'm going to stay on track. I think that's key. So I hope that you all are off to, again, an amazing start in this year. And this year I decided to start things a little differently. I know we have kind of, I guess you can say, the same conversations that happen in a cycle. Y'all excuse me, my sinuses are on like 9,000. So, y'all pray for us. It's that season. It is that season. So I know I'm not the only one, so I don't feel bad. But I'm good. But just y'all, all this is going to be all right before the night is over. But, it seems like we have conversations in the same categories repeatedly. And sometimes people wonder, like, why is everybody talking about the same things? And why is, It seems like we can't get off of a subject. And I like to think it's because, or I've found to believe it's because, or in my experience, I have come to the conclusion it is because we have not mastered the things in those areas that we need to, which is why we continue having the conversation. But we have the conversation in different ways. We have the conversation on different levels. And we hope that each time that we are growing and that we are learning, that we are sharing, that we are pushing ourselves to the next place, to the next level in whatever it is that we're doing, right? So this year, we're going to be a little more intentional. We're going to dig deeper. I'm not going to be as toxic, but I'm gonna be me. I don't want to lie and say toxicity is going all the way, because it's not. It's still here, But that's what makes it. That's what makes me, right? It's good toxic. Told y'all, it's like the flu virus. It's a little bit of the flu in the virus, so that it can attack the virus from the inside and build up your system to be able to fight it off. That's what we're here to do. We're here to attack the issues from the inside so that we can fight off the things that are trying to weigh us down. Does that sound good? That sounded good to me. I like it. So anyway, guys, as you know, while we are not a Christian-based network, that is across the street. You'll see me over there tomorrow. If you want to talk all things God, you can meet me over on the Sheila Ingram network tomorrow. We'll probably be on at 7:30 p.m. For 30 minutes of encouragement through word, prayer, and song. We're going to have a good old time and let the Lord do what he does over there across the street. But tonight, on this very mic, you're about to hear, we swear, the best conversation of the year. So cheerio. Y'all scream what? Bravo. Also, if you didn't know, this is Dawn B's show. That's right. See, y'all didn't know I was that talented. Y'all didn't know. Some of y'all don't even know. This is how I get down. I'm just saying. That's what we doing. I think I'm gonna open up the show every Thursday this year with that. I think I like it. I found my space. So anyway, I'm gonna get back to my point. To the church announcements. If you're looking for that, you can go across the street to the Sheila Ingram Network. We'll be over there tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. Again for 30 minutes with me, your girl, Elder Dornby. That's when I switch my hats. And we will be sharing a word of encouragement, through word, song, and prayer. But for tonight, I'm not going to do it again because I don't want my Theo to fall out of chair again. For tonight, we are over here having conversation. And the reason why I point that out is because over here we are open to everyone's thoughts, feelings, and opinions, whatever your moral compass is. The only thing that we ask is that everyone share in a respectable way. That's the main thing. It's our number one rule. It's the only rule we really have. We don't have to agree, but we want to have conversation and dialogue, not arguments, not discrepancies. We want to be able to share maturely. Now, in the event that disrespect is found, whether it's in the panel or in the comments, unfortunately, but fortunately, we would have to have you escorted out of the space. And that's done by our beautiful moderator. She is amazing, awesome, always on point, and she is in the person of our amazing Ine Kenya. We love you, Ine. Thank you for doing what you do. She is always, no matter what side of the street we on, she is always here and on point and on task. And we thank you. She says, hey, Bravo with Sheila Network. She's saying hi to everybody. And she says, hey, Dawn B, hi, beautiful. And, Ine is amazing and just as sweet and kind as she is. She will welcome you in here. She makes sure everyone is greeted and acknowledged. Well, she is also the person who does security and will escort you out as well. So we want to keep her greeting people and not putting people out. Thankfully, we haven't had that as of yet. I think maybe one time, but not really. So again, we say that just to say, let's have conversation. All right. And with that being said, we want to keep the integrity of our network is very important. So again, whatever your moral compass is, you are free to share. We don't attack each other. We listen to understand, not necessarily to attack and respond. So, I'm sorry, not to attack and respond. Not necessarily, but not to. Okay, so that's where we are, and that's what we do. Let me see. Other than that, for me, I just put it out there. My moral compass is what? I'm a God's girl. So you're going to get a little Jesus every time you get me. Y'all know what I've been saying this for like 4 years now, and that is not going to change. So when I speak from a place, and some of us, most of us on the panel are also believers. So when we're speaking from a space, we are speaking from our space of experience. While most of us are certified or licensed coaches, counselors, therapists, in our professional life, when we come on the platform, we're just coming to share and talk from our experience from the well of life and from the well of our lives and to share with you. And we hope that you'll do the same. So without further ado, and tonight we have one of our very own being featured tonight to get us started in this month of January. Y'all know her. You love her. I always say the world has their sweetheart and Bravo has ours. She's amazing. She is phenomenal. She is an HR specialist, par excellence, top tier, chef's kiss, the incomparable, only one of a kind gem. And she is my sis. She is our sweetheart over here on Bravo. She is Coach Theo Carter in the building. Welcome, sis. Happy Thursday to you. How are you on today? You are muted on today.
I always come in muted. How about that? Right? I said I am a little tired, but I'm well. I feel like
Okay.
this has been a week of Mondays.
I concur. Strongly agreed. Like, can we go to another day? Can
Like,
the week change? Yes, Monday has showed up very strong.
yeah.
But I'm glad that you are here. So before we dig into this conversation and before I share a little bit more about you, let's greet the people in the stands on today. And for those of you who are up in the silent sections, those expensive seats, I know you paid to get up there so you don't have to be bothered, but we would appreciate it. It's safe down here. I keep telling y'all in the comment section, it is so safe. We have security, and Nay is here. I promise you, and she has backup. So come on down to the comment section, say hello, greet us, hit that thumbs up button, and share it with someone else. You never know. Our conversations are never what we expect on Thursday nights. They usually take a turn at about 8:30, and that's usually when we go after dark. But we're gonna see what happens, and y'all be prepared because stuff happens after dark. So February is gonna be our all after dark month. It's gonna be after dark all month long, but we'll talk about that later. But let's see who is in the chat. But y'all come on down, say hello, let us greet you properly, and please, man, please, sir, again, hit that thumbs up button. Oh, there goes my lady, the woman who pushed me out. I am her 4 of 4. You know her, you love her, maybe not as much as I do because she literally gave birth to me, so I'm a little biased. She is in the person of Pastor Rosa. She is aka Mama Rosa. She's everybody's mama. She says, good evening, ladies. Good evening, mommy. How are you? Hope you're doing well. She says, just stop by to cast my vote. We appreciate you casting your vote. Thank you so much. And Theo says, hi, Mama Rosa. Look at that. All the love. I love the love. Oh, and of course, y'all, look who's in the building. My sis. My birthday twin the day before, but a few years apart, but we ain't gonna talk about that. The Dr. Elaine Sanders, who is on. She's the greatest host to ever do it on Monday nights. You don't believe me? Come on over on Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as she hosts Monday Beyond the Mic. She's phenomenal. You know how I know? Because I get to co-host and sit next to her every Monday. So I know personally that she is that girl and we love her. Thanks for stopping in, sis. She says, stopping by to say have a great show and love y'all. We love you too, beautiful. She says, proud of you, Coach Theo. Listen, that's my midwife. She said, keep it a buck about your toxicity. Listen, I'm transparent. I've learned the difference between honesty and transparency. That's gonna be a whole show. But
Yeah.
I'm transparent. I'm both with mine. I tell you, I ain't making you no promises. I can't promise that the degree of toxicity will change. Now I don't know which way the needle is going. If it's more or less, I don't know. It's still early in the year. It's only the second Thursday. It's too soon to tell. But my toxicity will change. I just stir the pot. It's what we do. Somebody got to do it. It's a tough job. Somebody got to do it. And of course, that's right. Y'all like how I flowed? That was dope, wasn't it? Tell me you didn't like it. Tell me you didn't like it. You want me to do it again? Tell me you didn't like it. I am multi-talented. I'm a woman of many talents, okay? I'm just saying. Then Anae is clapping and listen, I'm just saying. And then we've got Diva Chocolate in the house. Say, hi, Mom. Hi. How are ya? I love it. I love it. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for joining. And please, everyone say hi to baby girls in the building. So now we can get ready to get into some conversation. So tonight, wanted our coach Theo. She's our very own. She belongs to us, and she's amazing at what she does in her profession as an HR specialist. But aside from that, she is a certified life coach, helping people find their way. And I'm glad to say that soon, very soon, we going we pushing each other. So I'm working. I'm getting to the end of the journey so that my certification as a life coach, will be completed real soon. So we'll be coaching. We're gonna have Coach's Corner. I know y'all are gonna love that when we do. That we are going to do this year. So look out for that. We might just kick it off in February. I don't know, but we're gonna have Coach's Corner. So look for that. It's gonna be a good time, a good time. It's Evan. I see you, baby girl. I see you. That's my baby. It's my baby, y'all. But thank you. Thank you for letting everybody else know. I am very glad to see you because you've been on my mind. But yeah, I'm not gonna that's my baby girl, y'all. She's actually my cousin, but she's she adopted me. Yeah, that's my baby cousin. But she's become my daughter. She's become my daughter. So and I've become her mom. We've been in this so long. So that's my baby. I didn't birth a daughter, but apparently my cousin, her mom, did it for me. So and I'm glad about it.
Yeah.
Because she's amazing.
Yeah. And I understand
Yes.
because my sister birthed my daughter for me. So I'm good.
See what I'm saying? I don't know who I birthed my son for. No, nobody seems to. They bring him back. Like
Leave my nephew alone.
I'm just saying, I love him. I can't even complain about him today. I know this is so off topic, y'all, but he like ran all my errands today. Like I had him go to Macy's, I had him go to Uggs, I had him get the I had him go to Bath and Body Works, I had him go to the like he just ran all my errands. He came back like it was on his day off, like it was a whole work day. It was a whole thing. I was like, I love you, son. I'll treat you too. But I was glad. I was happy. I was happy. Yes, so y'all welcome my baby girl in here, my Ebony, my Diva Chocolate, her pretty self. So I'm glad you're here, Mama. Oh, see, she says, hiya. I said, y'all love on my baby because I fight. Y'all know I do. Okay, I'm sorry. Maybe that's not the right, because this is the topic. That statement didn't go with the topic. I'm sorry. See what I'm saying? You never know. You never know. You can't trust me.
The sinuses, because I think we're both, struggling with that today. So I'm just going to say it's the sinuses.
Okay. Thank you. See, that's what sisters do. She got me. She got me because when I can't explain it, she got it. She got it for me. And my baby girl is laughing. But so on tonight, we want to talk about this is I call it her brand because I believe that's what it is. And again, sometimes we talk about the same topics, but it's because there's so much depth in them. And as we're evolving, we need to learn and understand what it is to exist on the levels that we are evolving to. It becomes new to us. So tonight's topic is her brand, which is healing is a choice. And I love that statement, and I found it to be so true. And maybe those of you who are in your healing stage, and I think we all are, I think healing never stops.
Never, never.
It's not a one shot deal, it's not a one size fits all. Um, it's really something that is continual. So I think going into healing, and this is why I love our show, because we say things sometimes that, other people don't say. Well, I know I do. Don't want to say, aren't willing to say, but y'all know, listen, I'm a straight shooter, straight no chase. I'm going to tell you like it is. I think we have to stop selling healing like it's just a one-time thing. And we got to give the real expectation to people that when you choose to take this journey of healing, like intentionally, and that's your word, is intentional.
Yeah.
You have to know that you are setting yourself up for time. There's no expiration date. You have to celebrate the markers that you hit, those milestones as you're going, but it is forever. Like, it's not something that you are ever going to stop doing. So I want to pause here. Let me welcome one more person in the room. Hi, baby girl. How are you? That is Lily the Diva. I'm just a girl. That's my other baby.
Hi, Lily.
That's my other baby in the building. Um, so I'm going to pause here. Oh, look, she says, hello, Miss Carter. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I love that she made you married. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Lord.
Listen, speak it into existence.
Yeah, right. That ain't no typo. Come on. Come, big Jesus. Come on, big God. You still put married honorable.
Yes.
The diva has entered. Yes, she has. And I'm so glad you are here. So I'm going to pause here, and I want to, she said, we speaking it. That's right. Listen, put that R and the S behind. Put that R in between the M and S.
Yes.
Make it happen. But I'm going to pause here. I'm going to turn it over to our coach, Carter, so that she can share a little bit about how her brand came to be, what it stands for, what she does, and then we'll talk a little bit more. So go for it.
So I will honestly say that it came from me going through a season of healing. All right. And so try to make the story really short, but had a lot of losses, right? Many people know, walked into an apartment, found my dad unalived, right? Following that, one of my aunts passed, one that I used to spend every summer with as her ninth child. She had 8 children, so she was like another mom to me. Then my uncle, and then I think the final thing was this breakup, right? Which for me at that point, having been someone that, in the past, if a breakup happened, I had like the 30-day rule, I'm over it, right? But I had reached a stage where I had been really vulnerable. I thought this was the one, and just everything that happened put me into a really depressive state that I couldn't get out of, right? And so, getting up, going to work, crying, nonstop, coming in, going to bed, like just all of the stuff, right? I will honestly say, I decided to go back to therapy, right? And I don't know, like one day I got up and I was just sitting on the side of my bed, and I will honestly tell you, I am that person that will say God doesn't talk to me. Like when people be like, "Oh, God spoke to me," I'll be like, "I don't know, he's silent. I'm always talking to him, but he ain't listening, right?" And I swear, clear as day, I heard him say, "You could continue to stay in this space of darkness, or you could choose to heal. And I sat in that for a minute, and then I realized that, you know what? Healing was my choice, but I wanted to do it differently, right? And I wanted to do it in a way where it was about me and
Okay.
nobody else, right? And I say that to say that I'm not minimizing what I went through, and I'm not minimizing what anyone has done to me to disappoint me or hurt me or whatever. But when you sit in that, you get stuck in that, right? But I also wanted to figure out what was wrong with me. And I said that to one of my girlfriends, and she was like, she got upset. There's nothing wrong with you. And I said, listen, I agree. I'm a very lovable, nice, kind person most of the time, right? But there's something going on because I keep choosing the same
Mm-hmm.
person in a different body and showing up
Same,
and
different
start
face. That's what I call it.
speaking over and over again and whatever. And so I would say that is probably how my brand, as you call it, I don't know, I didn't really think of it as a brand, but that is how my brand, I would say, got started, because I also have a cousin who is more like my brother, and he literally co-signs most of the stuff I'll say I want to do. And at the minute that popped in my head and I sat in it, I called him and I was like, "Cuz, I think I want to put this saying on a t-shirt." And he was like, oh, "Okay, yeah, do it." Right? That sounds good, right? And called my other cousin, somebody called one of our other cousins who does branding, right? And so then I called her and I was like, "Hey, I got this idea. Could you do me a graphic?" And then I told her, what my thought was, how it came about, and whatever. And sidebar here, I called my cousin, asked her to make me a graphic. But for those of you who are listening, she has a business. I paid her. So sidebar, just because you have a family or friend that has a business and a service that you can use, they might offer you a friend and family discount, and let them offer it, but do not think you should get their services for free. That's
But
just
a
it.
customer is a customer.
And now I'm back. Right. So that's how it came about. She created a couple of designs. She sent them to me. I chose one, and then I had some t-shirts printed up, ordered them, and then I just started selling them. But I would say beyond that, I also
Okay.
began to really walk it out. Right? I really began to think about, intentionally what the healing looked like, right? Not only taking responsibility for my healing, right? But just really what did that look like? Because the other thing I realized is, like I said, it was 2016, 2017, 2018, right? And then after the breakup, in the midst of me healing and finally getting to a space where I was coming out of it, right? My god brother passed away at 50 years old. He had been, um, we knew he had been diagnosed with cancer, and he lived for 2 years. And it's crazy because I explained when we found out, like, that he actually had been told he would only survive 11 months, right? And he went beyond that. But
Mm.
so, like, and then it was again, right? So you like, and so like how you started out by saying, right? We're always healing from something, right? And then I was still kind of early in the healing process. So that was like, bam, right? Here we go again, right? And so, I just really feel like, for me, it just got to a point where I was like, I really just want to figure out why I move the way I move, why I do the things I do, why I've, despite being the person that I am, right? And why I say this is right. Um, I'm an expert in my field. I'm dope. Like and this comes after healing because I would have never said right. Like I am really a beast in the field of HR.
Embrace who you are, baby.
But that came out of me healing because before, I was just like, yeah, I'm good, what. But I would tell you, people come to me. I'm a leader. I'm a natural leader. That's another thing, all right? And so I think the other side of it is it also helped me embrace a lot of that. But prior to that, like for me, when I went through the breakup situation, right, I was like, and just to make it real short, because I was dating someone, I've been dating him for 3 years, right? Thought he was the one. He decided he didn't want to be in a relationship anymore because he was broken. And what that ended up meaning was that he really had been seeing like multiple other people. And in the midst of us dating, had met someone else and decided that he now wanted to work on that relationship and date that person and do whatever, whatever, right? And that just like sunk me. And I've come to realize that the real reason was because I felt stupid. I felt ashamed. I felt like, how could you be so smart, so intelligent, such a boss, right? But here you didn't see, right, what was going on. And just to make a long story short, going through therapy, I also went through coaching. The one thing I came out of therapy recognizing is that I was so in love with the thought of being in a relationship and being in love that I was not loving myself the
Right,
way I should have been loving myself, right?
right.
Which is I was settling and allowing and ignoring and making excuses and all of the stuff, right? Just to kind of hold on to relationships. And I'm not going to say that was probably the only relationship I did it in, but that was the one that kind of took me out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and thank you for sharing that. And I think that, you know, a few things that we can all take away from what Coach Theo has shared so far. She comes on with us every Thursday night. Of course, she is a part of this amazing squad that decides to come share their lives, willingly and unwillingly sometimes, because I just take people with me. But um, there's so much else that goes on within our own lives behind us sitting here sharing with you all, our audience, trying to help others. And we never wanted to come off as though we have arrived or we haven't lived, or, we literally always speak from our experience. We keep it 1000% real and get that transparent. Oh, look, my people's in the building. The real ones is in the house. Good evening, juggling slash aka Nero. Hi, good to see you. Thank you for popping in and joining us tonight. We are talking about, one of the core fabric of the real ones is about healing, and that's a poetic group. That's my people. So I say with them, I don't know how I got there, but I'm there. And I'm glad. God puts you in places, that like I found another piece in my village. I'm like, oh, they found me. Well, we found each other. Um, I'm saying all this to say, and what Coach Theo has, her story of how healing as a choice came about, is that she's sharing with you how she is a beast at what she does. She's top notch, top tier, chef's kiss in the field of HR, right? She's a leader. She's sweet. She teaches. She can direct. She coaches people. And even with all of this, she's still at the end of all of that. It doesn't mean that she has it all together. It doesn't mean that life, the vicissitudes of life, have not come her way. It means that in spite of that, those things, we still go on. We still press forward. Yes, I am. And you're here to stay in capital letters. Yes, I am. Oh, I ain't going nowhere. Y'all, if you don't know my motto is with me, there's one way in and no way out. Period. Okay, one way in and no way out. That's it. You stuck with me, and that's where we are. So But what we can partially take away from what Coach Theo is saying as her sharing her 9 to 5 and external positions, because sometimes people look at us because of what we do in the spaces where we're in, as if we have not experienced life, because we wear our wounds well, and sometimes they're covered, so people don't always see, because in the spaces that we're in, it doesn't call for us to be weak or frail or delicate or reveal that softer side or our struggles. We got to switch hats. We got to code switch. We got to stand up in those spaces in spite of how we feel. So one of the things I want us to understand is that we are not exempt. We are not exempt at all. It never think that the coach, the counselor, the therapist, the doctor, whomever you are with at the time, doesn't know what they're talking about because they're on the other side of the table. Because we can sometimes shut people out and shut down those who may be able to help us, because we feel like they don't understand what we are experiencing or what we've gone through, because you're this. You are this. You have achieved this. Do you think a medical doctor never gets sick? Like a medical doctor is, of course. Just because he's a doctor does not exempt him from sickness, or her. So let's just keep that in mind, that none of us are exempt, set up and stuck.
But I think a lot of us also, I think what people also have to realize is a lot of us end up in the space that we're in because it comes from our experience, right? So some of us experience something and decide that, you know what, we want to help somebody else do it. We want to use our experience, right? That would not have normally been me, but I would say another part of my story is I was that person that showed up all the time as I'm okay, right? So I'm good, right? I would roll through stuff. I'm good, right? I'm good. Breakup happened, 30 days, I'm good. Breakup, I'm good. So when
girl, you gave it 30 days? Shoot.
Yeah, I used to have the, 30 days meaning that
me.
all the stuff and give it back and do all of that other stuff, right? But like you said, like I could walk away, and this time I couldn't. And I would say one of the things that was really different about this healing experience is that I literally remember one day getting up and texting. So I have my core, or my god sisters. It's about 8 or 9 of us. We do everything together. We celebrate birthdays, we travel, right? We hang out, we do whatever, right? And I remember getting up and texting them and saying, yo, I'm devastated. I don't know what to say. That I need you guys to pray for me. I don't know how to even talk to God right now. Right. I don't even know, how I'm making it. Right. And a lot, it took them a while because a lot of them are not used to it. Because I'm the one that everybody comes to. I'm the one that
you're strong friend. Right.
I'm good. No, I got it. Right. I'm the one people are coming to. And for me, I think that was a real breaking point, because I literally took the mask off. Right? I took off the persona that everything's okay. I got it together. I'm the boss here, and I'm the boss here. Because honestly, I show up really confident at work, but I really wasn't really showing up confident in my personal life. Nobody would know that, because whenever you were around me, I'm showing up like I'm all right. I'm good. I'm moving through. I'm doing. You need me to do something, I got you. You want to talk about something, I got you. I got advice for you. I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to do that, right? And that was...
So can I sidebar right there for a second, though? I just want to sidebar right there because you said something that was really good about how, you're a leader and the way you show up and you got it and you're together. And that speaks to those of us who are in leadership, those who are in those, positions where we're responsible for others, where we are the strong person. We have to give ourselves that break.
Yeah.
Because if you keep saying that you're okay and just going on, like, I know I numbed myself quite often, and I was like, I'm not feeling anything. I just don't care. As I said, you said 30 days, girl. If I gave you 3 days, It was like that was long to me. I'm like, oh, I can't sit in it. Like you can't have that much of my time. And you know what? You don't want this no more. I wish I would. You would not get another day, another moment, another second. I get this point in my life. You got till midnight. Whatever happens in today, I leave it on this side of midnight. But those of us again who are in those positions, like we have to stop saying that we are okay
Yeah.
when we are not okay. It doesn't take away from the strengths that you are in the positions that you hold. How else, are you supposed to get the support that you need if we don't admit that we need support? Every cup has a limit,
Yeah.
and if a cup doesn't, we all get full. We all have a capacity. And if you had a cup that never got full, you would think something's wrong. Obviously, there's a hole, there's a leak.
Yeah.
There's something that's happening because it's not functioning, and that's what we don't want to do. We don't want to get to the point where we have a leak, and that's what happens with a lot of us who are in those leadership spaces. Then when we do, like Coach Theo was saying like I'm okay when we're not okay because we're trying to still be strong at a point where, listen, you got to learn how to let those you lead. I hope that we teach those that we lead well enough that we can put our guard down and allow them to then be strength for us. So before you continue, I just want to read 2 comments and see. Oh, the real ones that Lady Dawn, you look so beautiful, loving the hair. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm feeling a little sassy today. When I thought about the topic and I thought about healing, I was like, I don't know why healing always reminds me of like yellow. I don't know why. I don't know if that's a thing, but it just, I was like, oh, I'm going to do that today. I was like, I'm going to find my yellow because Lord knows I didn't feel like it. But thank you so much. I appreciate it. I clean up pretty nice when I want to. I can put a little spit shine on it. I'm just playing. Y'all know I don't do that. And welcome in to the curator of this space, my Auntie Bravo. You know her. She is the amazing, phenomenal, that woman, one of a kind, a gem, a jewel, and a gift to all of us. She's the reason why we have this space to come together. She is our Pastor Sheila. She says, blessings, beautiful ladies. Blessings to you, Auntie. Love you so much. And bravo to you, of course. The other thing I want to say before you continue or before we get further in conversation is, as you're speaking, it just also, as you're sharing in your stories, reminded me that, and I want our audience to, again, take this into consideration that life doesn't stop to let you catch your breath.
Nope.
More or less, life doesn't stop to let you heal. And that's why you have to make the choice. Like you got to throw healing in the mix of what you're doing. Because as Coach Theo was sharing, the losses that she suffered back to back to back to back, and then, maybe a little pause in between, but it was still something else that came up on the cusp of what she was still healing from losses and in the same area, and we have to remember that again, I think we expect for life to stop because it's like, I'm not finished with this yet before the next thing starts. Life is not going to stop to let us catch our breath. So we gotta make that choice to throw healing in the mix of what we're doing. And yeah, it is, I'm gonna say it straight, it is hella hard to do. Because you're like, I haven't even wrapped my head around this. I didn't even recover from this yet. And now I got to deal with this. The thing that made me think about that, honestly, is yesterday made a year since my best friend, I call her my left side best friend, because I'm my left and my right side, my two besties. But my left side, Elaine, passed away. And it's almost like time stood still.
Yeah.
Like this year has gone by so fast that it's amazing. I'm like, it's crazy that I feel like it was just yesterday that I got the news, and 365 days have gone by. And to be honest, I've cried at times in the beginning. Every now and then it'll come up. But because in my mind, I still don't understand, like, this is not the way this is supposed to be. This is not how we're supposed to end. Like we're supposed to grow old together, like the Golden Girls, and things like that. So um, it's a struggle,
Yeah.
but
It's going to continue
pushing.
to be a struggle.
And because I realized, like, I haven't even gotten to the point of acceptance. I acknowledge it, but I kind of haven't accepted it in one way. And I realized that about myself. And I said, okay, God, I don't want it to be a block to anything else that I'm doing. I don't want to hold on to it. But it's actually been what's pushed me through 2025. Because I remember I couldn't even do the show because I was a mess. And then the funeral was like a week later, and we just did all the, and just all the things. But I had to choose that in the midst of this, even though I don't understand, even though it hurts, even though I don't like it, it's uncomfortable, but I had to decide that I was still going to get up and I was still going to move forward. I was still going to try. And a lot of times we don't heal properly because we don't want to try. Because we rather sit, like you sit in the pain. And you said you couldn't sit in this. You made up your mind that you couldn't sit there. And I think, would you say that that's the first place when we start talking about healing is a choice? Would you say that that's the first step that we need to take in making that choice? Or how do we come to that decision?
I mean,
I know it's no.
I think it's different for everyone, but I think it is a conscious decision, right? I mean, for me, so like I said, I walked into an apartment, I found my dad. I went from the shock of it, because I was with my aunt, right? So I went from the shock of it to calling my covering, right? So my prayer partner, my prayer people, right? And telling them what happened, to calling EMT, sitting there while the police came, the firemen. Like I could, like, to this day, I was like, oh my God, every first responder in the world comes out, right? I could remember the conversations having with the uncle that then passed probably 2 years later, right? Because he was there, right? Because him and my aunt had conversations when we came. I remember, just the police off the conversations, but then going from that to, being the executor of the will, having to go up to the court, figure out the process, which, oh my God, I don't wish that on anybody, right? Having to get the paperwork, to going to planning of a funeral, notifying people, talking to the minister, picking out the car, doing all of this stuff, right? Cleaning out
Right.
like, moving, that, like you said, I think maybe a couple of months later, I might have sat on the couch and cried, but then picked right up, because I was like, yo, you still got to go. You got to work. You got to do this. You got to do that, right? And then the next one. And so I think because it was just coming and coming and coming, and then I found, as I was going through therapy, because I saw a couple of therapists, saw a therapist, went to coaching, stopped with that therapist, went to another one, but essentially what I found out is, honestly, I always have struggled with, in layman terms, I say functional depression. Of course, they have a diagnosis for it, but they would call it maybe persistent depressive disorder, right? Or high functioning depression. But basically, I was showing up the way I showed up because, in order to mask, like, when I was going through that when something would happen and I was getting depressed, I kept moving, right? Which is probably what made me successful in my career, which has probably made me show up to everybody like I was this great strength woman with all this strength, right? Because I was at every event, right? I'm showing up for everybody. I'm doing everybody. Like, I was a busybody, but the busybody was masking when something would happen. I was keeping myself occupied, right? And so I do think that there's something to slowing down and the stillness, because it was at the point where I really couldn't move through it anymore, that I think I really got that I needed help.
It gets very muddy and very murky and very thick. And it reminds me of something that Justin said on on his live. And for those of you who don't, Justin, aka AJW, the poet, I call him Mr. Certified Courageous Vulnerability now. Y'all know he's a part of the team. And he comes on TikTok on Sundays, and we sit and we talk again, more conversations like these of many kinds. And it's a good time. If y'all don't know this, y'all need to come on over to TikTok too. Okay, y'all do what you do here, of course, but come on over to TikTok because there's some other great conversations that go on over there from our team. But one thing he said was that you cannot heal from what you. I don't want to get it wrong, but I'm going to paraphrase it. He said you can't heal from what you don't acknowledge. Yeah. I believe basically that's what he was saying. Yeah. Like you have to acknowledge it. Yeah, you gotta embrace it, like you said, and not run from it, because we will feel ourselves. It's the avoidance of things is what stops us from healing. And it's funny because today, you know how your Facebook memories pop up and whatnot. So I wrote a quote 2 years ago, not really, I don't even remember what, looking at it, sometimes I might remember what made me say that. I don't remember what made me say this, but when I did, I was like, oh, this would be good to mention, in tonight's conversation. And I said, in relation to what you were saying about how you just kept moving. And I said, stop treating the results of a thing. Yeah. Healing and deliverance come from treating the root. Yeah. And that comes from, like, a lot of times when we go to the doctor, and something's wrong, they'll give you something to address the symptoms, but they do not really treat the root of what's happening to you. They just want to get you over the hump of whatever is happening, not to the root of it. And like you were saying, when we start just keep going, we are treating the results of the thing. This happened, and as a result of that happening, I'm going to keep moving. As a result of me losing this, I'm not going to, give myself 30 days. As a result of me, not me feeling this way or whatever it is, I'm going to deal with after effect, the end result. Yeah. But I never treat the real cause of what is happening, and that's why things resurface. That's why things, you keep cycling. When we mentioned earlier, and I love this about, this was my story about the same spirit, different face. Yeah. And it was because I was never dealing with the root.
Yeah. And I will honestly say, right, so I will say even back in probably my late 20s, I remember sitting at work, right? Now I had just got promoted into a management role, right? I'm sitting at work. I don't even know why. I'm crying every day at my desk, right? And that was my first time going to therapy, right? And I will tell you that therapist probably was tired of me, because I think the first couple of sessions, I used up all her little tissues in her box because I just cried, right? Right. And then, and that was the first time, right? And then again, I just started living, right? I just kept going. I kept moving, being successful in my career and showing up, my closet full of shoes and my nice little clothes and my bags. And yes, I'm Theo. I got it together. I'm good, right? It was during the time where I was like, okay, I want to heal, and I want to heal differently, and I want to figure out what is wrong with me. Like, this is about nobody else but me. And I think for me, what made it a choice was I finally was honest with myself and was like, you're not okay. You're not, like, yeah, you been very successful in my career. I started out as administrative assistant, grew up to the ranks to a chief human resources officer, right? But I still wasn't really happy and fulfilled, right? There's something to having that type of joy and peace that comes from inside, right? And that really, really comes from really knowing and accepting who you are, but not only being honest with yourself, but being honest with the people around me, right? Now showing up to my family and my friends that, listen, I hurt just like you guys. I struggle with stuff just like you guys. I don't have it all together. I'm not the rich person y'all think I am. I got bills. I got all kind of stuff, right? I got stuff going on too.
Yes.
Right now, I honestly could
Mm-hmm.
say, someone will be like, "How are you doing?" I will honestly be like, you know what? Today's not a good day. I really don't have much to give you today. Like, so I'm sorry. Tomorrow I might be able to listen to your problem or talk to you, but today I,
Yeah.
I don't have it in me. Right. Whereas before I would sit
And I
there,
think everybody,
right? Oh, wait a minute. ND came in.
and I think everybody, yeah, I was waiting for you to finish talking so I could welcome her in. I didn't want to interrupt you. Welcome in, sis.
Hey, sis. What's she doing? She can come. She, are you talking and you're
She'll probably
muted?
pop on. No, no, she's probably, she might have stepped away. But I
Oh,
think that what you said, is key and important. And I think everybody should be able to understand we are all human. Allow people to be human. I
yeah.
love that, not only is healing is a choice, but it's your choice. It's not anybody else's choice. One thing I really despise is when you say, I'm not okay, and like your people around you, like you said earlier, your friends around you are like, no, don't say that, you're good, you're fine, and all, when they're rejecting your truth and your reality. And because then it's not about you. Oftentimes outside people that we are there for reject your truth and your reality because they don't have the capacity to deal with you not being okay. Not only that, it's it gets a little deeper when they don't have the capacity to deal with you not being okay. It's because if I view you as the one who always has it together and you can conquer the world, like if you're not all right, then what does that say about me? You know what I'm saying? Like then I'm really not all right. But we got it. You can't compare. You can't
Nope.
compare, and you have to make your healing is your choice and yours alone. Um, I was looking up and seeing what are said there are 5 stages of healing, which is denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance.
Yep.
Those are stages that we all go through. Like you cannot avoid them. And it's not just about losing a person. We heal from so many things. Some of us heal from loss of relationships, of
A job.
possessions, health, you
Yep.
know, um, loss comes in so many different ways and it affects us in so many different ways. There's so many spaces that we need to be healed from. Mentally, we need to be healed from some things. When you don't let the thing out that is hurting you and we're not honest with it, it physically affects us. Some of our health issues are brought on because we didn't allow ourselves to go through that denial, or we go because we're going through that denial. Oh,
Mhm.
this didn't hurt me, and I know that I was like that. I was like, it didn't hurt. I don't care. I
Yep.
acted like I didn't have any feelings. People thought I was stoic, and I'm like, no, I'm not stoic. I just don't respond to everything. Like I have to, in order for me to keep my emotional stability, I have to not feed into everything because I know my temperament and I know where I will go. So I gotta, choose my battles really wisely. And how much of a thing do I want it to consume me? You know,
Yep.
um, brokenness is heavy.
Yep.
The weight of the broken things, the weight of pain is very, very heavy. The way it weighs us down is incredible at times,
Yep.
and it is easier for us sometimes or most times. You're gonna hurt anyway.
Yep.
It's gonna hurt. The pain hurts and the healing hurts.
Hmm.
I would rather go through the pain of healing because the end result is way better.
Yeah.
It
And
keeps
I
me out of
always,
that cycle.
yeah. Yep. I agree. I always say to people like it was the I think it was probably one of the hardest journeys for me because when you really
Hmm.
look at yourself, like when you really make the choice to look at yourself, like really like what was your part in this, right? Because honestly, yeah, I was disappointed by the person. I think I was, but I was more disappointed in myself, right? I was more upset with myself, right? I like there was like just this every time I was at therapy, and I would leave there, I'd be like, damn, I can't believe it, right? And so, but I tell anybody, it might have been one of the hardest journeys, but what was on the other side of it was so freeing. So
So beautiful.
right, like just now to really walk in who I am, right? To show up and really be able to share with people, right? Like, yes, I went through that. Yes, this happened. Yes, I was depressed. Yes, I struggled with depression. Yes, like for it's crazy because I then, went to therapy, stopped, whatever. And when I moved to North Carolina, I went back into therapy, but only at this point for preventative. It was just preventative. There wasn't anything wrong, but I was like, you know what? You're now starting a new journey, right? Although I made the decision to move, right? I had to acclimate now to my core is in New York. Although I have people down here, my core, my people, they're in New York, right? And so I literally, and people are like, why you at that? But I'm like, yeah, but this is just preventative. And I'll tell anybody, right? It's nothing like having an unbiased individual to talk. And I found a Christian therapist as well, right? So that was another thing. She was a believer. We connected, and it was just really great to be able to once a month maybe talk something. If something was going on with me, I'd be able to talk it through with her. If nothing was going on with me, we still were just able to have a conversation, and check in with somebody. And literally, I just in December of 2025 ended that relationship because she was like, you know what, you good, you don't need me. And I was like, I know I don't need you anymore, but what if I want to continue? And she was like, no, she was like, I said, oh, so you breaking up with me? She was like, we joked about it. And she was
Mm-hmm.
like, but you really have done the work, you have the tools, right? You know how to move through this, right? And that's the thing. I'm always going to be healing from something, but the reality is now I'm able to navigate through it differently because I do have tools and I do have things that I learned, right? Just from being in therapy, um, how to navigate it. But also just recognizing that it's okay to say I'm not okay. It's okay to
Right.
sit in for a little while.
And it's okay to tell yourself, like, start telling yourself, I am not okay, because we lie to ourselves the most. Hold on one second. Let's just see. Welcome in, Official Maze. How are you? Thank you for joining us tonight. It is good to see you. Hope you will hit that thumbs up button for us. I hope, please, and thank you. And for those of you who have not hit that thumbs up button yet, please do so. We are here tonight talking with our coach Theo as our special guest. You know, she's on every week, but we're sharing in her brand. Healing is a choice. Welcome in, Dr. ND. Can you hear us? You hear us now?
Yes, I had Theo was right. I kind of stepped away and put my hat on because
Oh.
this is
Oh,
not a good hair day. This ain't it.
I
This ain't a good
we
hair
wasn't
day.
sure if you could hear us and see us, but I'm glad you
Yeah, no,
glad
I
you made
went
it
to the
back.
back and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna. And I was like, that would be rude for me not to show my face tonight. So I said, let me go put a hat on. So I ain't embarrassing these streets, and y'all still, will own and love me because my
That
hair
we're
ain't
always
okay.
going to love you.
Today my hair is not
We will
okay.
always.
My hair is not
Right.
okay
It's
today.
okay. Okay.
I went to put my
We're
wig on.
healing. We're healing. We're making the
Yeah, my
choice.
hair is
We're making
healing.
the choice.
It's going through it's
See what I'm
healing.
saying? We're making the choice to be. See how we walking it out right now, y'all, in living color. You see that? You see? We
Yeah,
ain't just talking about it. We walking our talk. Dr. ND just showed you. It's
yeah,
okay. It's okay to
yeah.
say you're not okay. Whether it's your hair is not okay,
My
whether
hair
it's
is
your
not
feet are
okay.
not okay,
Yeah, my
Yeah.
hair is not
it
okay.
is
My
not
nails is
okay.
okay.
It's all
I
right.
mean, the other stuff is okay, but my hair is not okay.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
I'm looking a little scary out here in these
Whoever's,
streets.
whoever's having a not okay moment, it's okay to say it.
Y'all,
Just embrace it.
you be embarrassing me. You be like, baby, I love you, but I'm gonna need you to put your camera off. Today is an off day. My God, today.
It's all
But, but
we
that's
just glad you.
great that you said it, because it's honest. Like, it's okay to not be okay and to tell people you're not okay.
Oh, I live I live by that. I've lived by that the past 3 years.
Yeah.
The last three
But you
years
gotta
I have been
first
in.
tell yourself that.
I did,
You have
and
to first tell yourself.
I had to learn how to tell.
Yeah.
I had to learn how to be okay, and then learn how to tell people that I was not okay, and not feel moved by saying I'm not okay.
Yep.
Um, I don't want to say that anymore. Yeah. One of the things I've had to learn is that when you are the strong person and no one expects you to have moments.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen people who have been connected to me, whether it's in ministry or professional, that would see me cry and couldn't process it
Mm-hmm.
because it was like, we don't never see you
Yeah.
like this. And, I got tired of being the strong one in the room.
Yes.
So I got to a place where I was like, yeah, I don't feel like praying today. I don't really like you. I don't want to talk. I don't
Mm-hmm.
feel like explaining. So I've graduated to not only saying that I'm not okay, but I've graduated to not giving explanations as to why.
Yep. And that's
Yeah.
the
And that
that's
all
the
comes
key.
apart with you.
That is
Yeah,
the
you
key.
be willing to make your choice and be guilt free about it. And that's another.
Yeah.
We delay our own healing, our own process, our own journey because we're still so busy trying to make everybody else comfortable. I won't cry. I remember one of the first times my son is an adult, or when he got old enough, like I would never really. I don't know if it's fair to say, but I would never really let him see me cry too much. I would never really let him see me hurt. I always let him see. I've been very open and transparent with my son because I wanted him to see what life really is. I wanted him, to understand. And he would do things and just keep going. And I'd be like, Jalen, like, can I breathe? And I had to ask him one day, I said, Jay, I'm human. And he said, Mom, you're not human. You're a superhero. And I was like, what? And he's like, when I see you, and he wasn't a kid, like he was like in his teenage years, like he really thought that there's nothing that I can do. And for a while after that, it hit me in a way where I was like, Dag, I can't even cry in front of this boy because I didn't know what he was going to do. I didn't know how he would take it. If I'm breaking down and he's looking at me, to be his total strength, like he's going to think that, it's just a total loss for him. Like his life is just over. And he never said that. But in my head, that's where I took it to until one day when he got a little older and I forgot what happened, but I just I lost it because when I would cry, he'd be like, Mommy, I can't take it when you cry, you know. But I cried and I kept telling him I'm okay. And I remembered I didn't want him to hug me. I didn't want him to touch me. I didn't want to, and he's doing his best to come and console me because he makes me cry more. And the weight of what I was going through and what I was feeling was like so heavy. I was afraid to, let it out because I said he's not strong enough to handle the pain I'm about to release through my tears, So I'm still trying to protect him. And God was like, cry.
Yeah.
Let him comfort you. Let him. Like I gave you him, and I just kept saying, because I'm still looking at him like he's my baby. Y'all know my son is 6'1", 310. He's bigger than me, And when I finally did cry and let it out, it was so insane. I was so shocked to see that what my son had become was enough to hold me through what I was going through. Like he took it like a trooper. He wiped my tears. He was like, are you okay? He was like, look at me and breathe. All the things that I did to him, So I'm saying that to say sometimes while we're trying to protect those around us because we are the strong one for everybody, sometimes you have to stop thinking about them. And again, make your healing your choice and let it happen. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? If they cannot handle the capacity of what you are going through and what you're releasing, then let them step off to the side. It's okay. but you never know who's in your circle that is actually equipped and built to hold you up so that you can get through it. Because you got to get through that painful moment so that you can get back to being strong, and not for everybody else, but strong for you. So now, the other day I came out, I think I shared with y'all, I didn't even know what I was going through because, we're women of a certain age, so life is changing, you know, and, our hormones are in different kind of places and things. So it was nothing wrong. But I was sitting on the edge of my couch. I just came in. I didn't even take my shoes off. I just sat there. And he's like, Mommy, you okay? I was like, mm-hmm. And he's like, something ain't right. And I was like, good. And he came out. He looked at me. He said, you not all right? I said, no. And I started crying. And he's like, what's wrong? I was like, nothing. And he just did it. And he said, you need a hug? I was like, yeah. Now, a while ago, I would never have said that. I would have never said yes. I just would have went in my room and cried in my pillow, or, how we cry in the shower, But he's like, okay, let me turn the pan off, because he was cooking, and just like, come on, have a moment. Like, go ahead and just let me cry until, again, you never know. And I needed that because I had to think about the past few weeks, how tumultuous they had really been. And I just kept going. So even the strong ones, because we're all strong at different times, but for how long can we possibly be strong and not allow ourselves to be human? So you make the choice to, if you don't allow yourself to be human, no one's going to give you the space to be it.
Yeah.
Because takers are going to take, right? Give is going to take.
But it's like Dr. MD said, right? It's really that point of where you're like, okay, I'm tired of showing up as the person that it always has it together. I'm strong. I tell people, you call me. I remember at one point, this was when my dad was still alive and my mom. I said, you know what? I love you guys, but you guys call me to tell me when y'all got something going on. You could just call me to just see how I'm doing. Right. And this was before I even started my journey. But I think people forget that. But I also think the other thing that was important for me is to not rush it. Like, some people, and I know someone like, I just want this to be over. And I'm like, you know what? It's not going to just be over. Right? Like, if you really want to heal, it's not, you just can't snap your fingers and it's going to be over. You're going to have to navigate through it. And like, at least for me, there was work that I needed to do. And that first work was first figuring out, right? Who are you really? Take away this title of a chief, whatever you are. Take away this title of like daughter, because now, your dad, you still a daughter because you got a mom, but my dad was my parent. Like, that was my dude, right? Take away, all of these titles that you're identifying yourself as. Who are you to your core? What's your identity?
But we get caught up so much in the cosmetics of things, I think, and of the persona. And so we introduce ourselves to people in that way. So I realized no one was coming to help me because I was presenting myself as a person who didn't need help. Because again, we wear our wounds really well, but you got to let people, because people will misjudge you. Again, like you said, Theo, the way we show up, because you could be well dressed and all put together. And I tell people, let me give y'all tell y'all a secret. Don't tell nobody, okay? It's just between us. So it's just, it's just ours here. 9 times out of 10, when I go to work and I'm looking my absolute, like, chef's kiss, they call me like Miss D and Diva and all of that. When that happens, it's usually because I feel my absolute worst. And no one would ever know it. They're thinking that it's to the nines. They be like, you going on a job interview today? No, I'm coming here to work. What are you talking about? Because people get so accustomed to you presenting a certain way. And so they box you into this, like, she just got it all together and everything is wonderful and well, and I'm like, no, I've just learned that when I am at my absolute worst and I feel less than who I am, I gotta do something to pull myself onto the other side. Don't
Yeah.
think when I'm in my worst pain, what's that they say? Like, never let them see you sweat. I don't even
Yep.
care if you see me sweat. I could care less. I need you to see that. Don't just smell the sweat if you have to. I don't care at this point in life. But it's not even for you. It's for myself. It's because I have to remind myself that I am not what happened to me or what is happening to me. I am not this pain that I'm going through. And I have to make sure that I show myself a reflection of the better me through this. Because if I look at me at the painful view of me,
Yeah.
like you said, Theo, I can quickly get stuck in that. I can quickly stay there. I can quickly just rest in it and, woe is me. But I have to dress myself up, get up from here, girl. Yeah, but get up and choose to be more than your situation. Let me pause 1 second and say good evening to Mommy Needs a Timeout. Say what now? See, I love it. Sure does. We all need a timeout. Take your time out. I hope somebody catches that. Mommy needs a timeout. Take your time out. She says, ouch, I caught her straight. I'm sorry. We didn't mean to. We got a Band-Aid for you though. This is a good space. It's a healing space.
Yes.
We don't just leave you wounded. We heal too.
But it's also, I think,
We got the total job.
yeah, you have to realize that for me, and I always talk for me, right? It was my responsibility to heal.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else's responsibility. There was stuff happens to us every day, right? And at the end of the day, um, if I sit in what happens to me, I'm never gonna get out of it, right? And so it's kind of figuring out how to navigate it. But also, I had to realize, right? Nobody can give me closure but myself. Because even in some
Please say that again.
nobody could
You
give me
don't.
but myself, right? Because here's the reality.
Why are we giving people
Do
the
do
authority to decide when it's closed for me? What sense does that? I'm sorry. You done struck
but
my
what I want
nerves. I'm
somebody,
sorry. We hate.
but what I want somebody to hear, and this is somebody that might have been going through a breakup or whatever you're going through, whether it's the job or whatever, right? When they call you into the office, HR, right? Like we're doing our jobs, we don't always make the decision. I just want to put that disclaimer out there, right? There's nothing we can make you say to feel better about the fact that we're about to tell you that you're going to be laid off, right? So you have to figure out, right? Once you get past the fact that we gave you this paper and we said either we giving you severance or we not, and this is what the benefits or whatever, you have to figure out how I'm going to heal for this. Because if you go home and you're constantly replaying in your mind that you get laid off and what's going to happen, right? There's nothing we can say that's going to make you feel better. It's the same thing with a relationship. Dude could have said, I'm sorry 10,000 times. He could have said, I chose her and not you because of whatever. Nothing he would have said would have made me feel better. I didn't realize that at the time, but as I began to go on this healing journey, I realized you are responsible for not only your own healing, but you are responsible for your own closure.
So let's talk about that. Let's just talk about that for a second
That right,
because I
that right
really,
there. Yeah, that right there. That right there.
you decide when you put the Band-Aid on. I don't need you telling me. Go ahead, Dr. Indy, because I'm about to go through the screen because
So so here's the thing with that, and I'm glad you said it because that just opens up the door of responsibility
Mm-hmm.
and maturity.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we have this thing is that we're good with blaming other people.
Yeah.
And one of the things I've learned is that people can only do as much as you allow them to do.
Mm-hmm.
We
say it again for
sometimes,
the people in the front.
yeah, people can only do as much as we allow them to do. And when we are in situationships, I'm gonna say situationships, or we're in these relationships, whether they're professional or they're intimate, we have to discern and understand. And sometimes we put expectations on people that they can never meet. And then when they drop the ball and fail us, our feelings are hurt. And they should be. However, at some point in time, I know part of my healing journey started when I had to take accountability myself. It didn't start like, because I remember distinctly, like, and mind you, all of the situations were valid. They all did something to hurt me. And in some cases, it was traumatizing. However, and this is where we don't talk about. This is something that we don't address. This is something that people won't talk about. It's twofold to this. They won't accept the fact that they had a role to play in some of what has
That part.
happened. I'm not talking about those extreme instances. I'm not talking about the physical abuse part of it. So let me put that disclaimer down there, because nobody has the right to lay hands on another person without the person knowing. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about stuff where it's, verbal. And verbal is just as bad as a physical hit. The difference is you just don't see the wound. And so we have this thing where we do not, you do not say, you know what? I may have played a role in it. And I know for me on my journey, I was sitting up here saying this really tumultuous time of my life. It was just a lot. And the Lord just let me go through it for a second. And then it was just one of them days. It was a nice rainy day. I think it was, I don't know what it was, because I know by the time I finished crying, it felt like it was raining outside. That there was a nice, polite tap on my shoulder and was like, "Can I talk to you for a second?" And I was like, all right, not sure what it was. I was already in my feelings. And he was like, "But you played a role in this." And I was like, "What?" He said, "You knew. You saw the signs. Help me, Lord. And you chose to ignore some of the things that were being shown to you. You opted to stay in a situation where I made and gave you a way of escape. But because of your own insecurities and your own fears, you opted to stay in something that you thought you could navigate, opposed to leaving to find out what was on the other side of the unknown." So here we have a lot of people saying it's the victim. I'm the victim. I'm the victim. I'm the victim. But you knew that she wasn't a really good friend. You knew that she wasn't loyal. You watched how she moved, but because you were fearful of having to go out there and make new friends, or just taking some time by yourself, you stuck with something that was familiar that was slowly killing you. So now we get to the doctor, and the doctor is telling us we got 6 months to live. But when the doctor was, when the symptoms were so apparent before, but you just disregard them because you thought it was a bad stomach ache.
Hmm.
And so we don't want to take accountability and say, you know what, I probably should have left and I didn't. I should have left and I didn't. And then the other part of that is that we are looking for healing. We are looking and we're showing up in spaces. And I've been in many platforms where I've heard women, especially women who are single, and they talk about, "I'm healed. I done did the work. I'm healed." But when the things that come out of their mouth about the expectations and the past relationships where you can't forgive. And somebody said earlier today in the space I was in, and he was like, they was talking about how the mother had to forgive the father. Okay. But she told the kids to still honor your father. And I was like, okay, Lord, you set me free, because people used to be like, how could you tell? Like, I didn't like my ex-husband. I thought he was an idiot. And I still do in certain cases. But he's my kid's father. So I gotta, like him a little bit. And I had to tell
I
myself
get it.
how I feel. He's still your dad, and you still need to respect him. Now I had to walk through my own fault of forgiveness, and didn't realize
Yeah,
until
I think that
that I wasn't there yet. And I was like, the Lord was like, "So, bro, let me help you. You really gonna need to have to forgive him, because it's over." He said, "Look at what I did in your life since you left him."
Yeah. And that's the thing. People don't even realize that. Like for me, like the great thing about everything that you said is it just demonstrates that we're not out here alone. And that's the other thing that I want women to understand, right? Dr. and D and I, we just met, like, right, what, like 2 years ago or whatever, but we have similar stories, right? Because I was the same thing. I was like, yo, the healing journey was so hard because every time I had to realize that, yo, girl, you had a part in this. You saw the signs, you ignored the signs, you and this is another thing I want people to say, right? When you're having a conversation with someone, no response is a response. And don't make up the response
Absolutely is.
because that's what happened. There's no response is a response, but then I was in my mind making it to be a response that I wanted it to be, that kept me in this thing that God was like, yo, girl, how many ways do I have to tell you that I need you to exit out of this situation? Right? And that's not just a situationship or a relationship, that's also a profession or an organization or a job. We stay there, we go to work every day, we're so miserable, right? I will tell you, I have had a successful career. I love what I do. But at the point that I made the turn and I started writing books and starting my business, and I was like, you know what? I really want to help other women move forward, right? I want to help other women move forward. I said, you know what? I'm gonna leave this chief executive role. I'm gonna go become a little individual contributor again. Just give me a job. I could go in. I don't have to lead nobody, be responsible for nobody else. And then I could really focus on the thing that I'm passionate about doing. But so many of us get caught up in the bi-weekly paycheck and the stability of it, right? And not trusting that God is gonna make up. Cause trust me, I wouldn't have left if he wasn't saying, I need, in order for you to really do what I need you to do, I need you to let go of something. And so we gotta be ready to let go
Mm-hmm.
of something.
But you said something that was key.
That's the truth.
You said journey. I'm sorry, go on. You said journey.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we need to, I think that it's important to understand that healing is not a overnight process. It is a journey. And I tell my students when I teach, I tell when I mentor that there are some, and even when I'm in ministry, when I'm ministering, there are some things that God has not brought to the forefront because you are not in a place of maturity to handle the responsibility of doing the work to be healed so
Yeah,
you don't become a repeat offender of the same offense.
yeah, that's it. And that's why, like, I
And that
even
was
with
one of the things.
she was like, I want it to be over. I said, it's going to be over when God's ready for it to be over. You got to do the work, baby. You got to go through this journey. You can't snap your fingers and just get out of it.
Yeah, that was I was gonna say that's one of the things that Dr. Indy, as you were saying, that we actually stated and started the show with the fact that healing is not an overnight uh
Mm-mm.
thing. It is a journey, it's consistent, so I'm grateful that I'm so glad you echoed that, again, because we give this false narrative that, do these 12 steps and that's it, because, or in 48 hours, if you shut in, you're going to be, no, it's not. It's just not, you're absolutely correct, and when you both talked about the accountability piece, again, because as Theo's brand says, healing is a choice. And I think people need to hear that differently. You got to hear it from the side of accountability, not from the side of the victim. You know, um, we have to. I know I call it a participating victim. I know that's what I was,
Mm-hmm.
in my marriage. I signed up for this tomfoolery. You know what I'm saying? I signed up. I was aware, and we have to stop pulling the victim card when we sign up for something knowingly. You loving him is not going to change him. You loving her or giving her everything that she wants physically or, materialistically is not going to change her. Those things are never going to fill the gaps
Yeah.
of a person's life that they have not taken the time to acknowledge and start to change themselves. All we do is we add on to, we cover up the hole. That's why, on the highway, the potholes, it's not, healing's not, it's not a pothole you fill in. You don't just leave it open and just, just let me put this sheet of metal over it so that, no, it's not solving it. It's delaying it. It makes it worse. You
Yep.
know, it is your choice. It is your personal responsibility and it is your right. No one else, people can partner with you to support you in your healing journey. But guess what? You got to start the journey.
Yeah.
If you don't make the decision to start the journey, you may not even know where to go. You may not even know where to begin. You might not even know how to start. And that's okay. But the first start in that is saying, I want to do this, but I don't know how.
No.
Not
Yep.
saying that I can't. No, because when you say you can't, then that means that you just don't want the change. You want someone to pacify you in that space. And I've been there. I've done that. So we have to stop being a participating victim. We have to look at healing being a choice from the side of accountability personally. How much of your life are you willing to be accountable for? Because whatever happened to you, guess what? You are still here. You've lived through it. And I don't mean to be, this is where the toxicity comes in, right? Okay, so I'm just saying. I told y'all it wasn't fully gone. It's still here.
Healing should be an investment. We should look at healing as an investment,
It's an
as a stock
investment.
option.
Yep. It's an
For
investment.
those who are materialistic, a pair
No.
of shoes, some makeup, a pocketbook. Healing is an investment. It's an
Yep.
investment where the return on it is unprecedented. There
Yep.
is no limit and there's no amount. There's no amount that you can tap at and say that you've got it. Healing is going to be a continued journey because as long as we are engaged with people,
Yep.
as long as we engage with culture, there's always going to be something or someone that's going to hurt our feelings. And
Feelings.
so we have to decide where we stand and be okay with not being okay, but also understand and holding people to a place of maturity. And
Yep.
I'm in a season of my life where I don't have to, I won't explain anything anymore. If I say I'm not doing something, I would always explain, well, I can't make it because, I don't have any money or, or I'm not coming. I'm not going to be able to make it. And that should be sufficient enough because there are things going on. And by the time it takes me 30 minutes to explain, your response on the other end is like you really don't care because you really want me to be there. So
Yep.
anything that I got going on, though you might empathize with me on the surface, underneath you really don't care because you want the support. And here's the thing, I'm not mad at you for that
Yep.
because it's your day and you've done something. You have every
Right.
right to want those people who are
Yep.
connected to you to celebrate. But at the flip side, yeah, I have to understand if the roles were reversed.
Yep.
And
And that's
I'm
key.
done with dealing with people who are not mature enough to understand that the seasons in our lives change. That's
Yep.
part of healing. That the person that you may have encountered 5 years ago is not that person on the 6th year. And that means that that doesn't change my love for you, my commitment to you, my dedication to you. That means that you've not taken the time in 5 years to watch me evolve from a broken place to a place of being completely healed,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm on a journey to figure out what's next in my life. But you are so emotionally broken and destroyed, you automatically see that my separation, my isolation, my quietness means that I no longer care. But the reality of it is I'm trying to figure this thing out. And I already know that you are not equipped
Yep.
to help me navigate, nor is it fair for me to engage and expect you to do something for me that you don't understand the totality of. So, me separating or me going through doesn't mean that we ain't sister or we ain't brother and sister.
Yep.
We ain't best buds. That means I need a minute. I need you to tap in because if you was like, let me give them some time. Let me check in. You all right? You good? You want to go grab something to eat? How you move predicates how I engage with you when I come out of this thing.
Yep.
And that's a part of I'm okay with saying goodbye.
Exactly. And that's the thing. You got to be okay with being like, you know what? This relationship is just going, it has maybe run its course, or it's going to just be a different relationship. And I'm good with it. Cause I'm like that too now. I'm like, nope, I can't make it. There's no reason behind it. But the other thing I want people to hear also as well is you have to find the people that are going to, I don't want to say help
Gotta find.
you, but that are not gonna commiserate with you, right? That are not gonna
Yeah.
keep you in that space. Because here's the thing, like Dr. ND said, I'm not gonna say that the people that have disappointed me and hurt me did not, they did not do it. They did. But the other side of it is I'm gonna own my part in it. But also I had to let them go. And whatever feelings I had about them, I had to deal with it. I had to be like, you know what? I'm gonna forgive them. That doesn't mean I have to talk with them. That doesn't mean I have to engage with them again. But in order for me to continue to move on, I had to let them go because this journey is about me and it has nothing to do with them anymore, right? They had their part,
That's
but there some of you. Sorry, I'm gonna say sorry up front before what I'm gonna say. Some of you just like being the victim, right? Some of you like being in
there are
the
some
woe
people,
is
yeah,
me. What not, I'm not saying all, some like to be in that woe is me, they did this to me, why did they do this to me, whatever, 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 right? They did it. You can't change what they did. You can acknowledge it. You could tuck it away. I'm not one of those people that believe in forgive and forget. I know that's a big debate that people have. I believe in forgiving, but I need to have a little bit of the memory back here so that when I need to build it back up and say, nope, girl, don't go there because you remember what happened the last
right,
time, right? So, so I'm
right,
not, so we could debate that, but I'm not the one that's going to say forgive and forget. But I will say that you do have to let some stuff go in order for you to move on because this journey is about you. It's about you moving through it. It's about you figuring out how you're going to navigate it going forward because we're always healing from something. Something's always going to
right.
come.
It's always going to be. It is that never evolving.
Victim, victim, victim. So you're so busy being the victim that you can't even find your way out of this space that you're in, and it's just draining everything out of you when God has so much that he could probably use that's in you.
But we definitely don't want to continue in the mindset or even in our actions of being a participating victim. So if you take anything away from this conversation, let that be one of the gems. It's all about introspection. Last year was very introspective for me. This year will always is going to be continue to be very introspective for me because even as I've stated before, we know how to walk in our wounds, but we have to learn how to live in our healing, and that is the other side. Because for all that we talk about, and for all that we share, and for all that we keep hearing this talk about healing and healing like everywhere we go, because there's some words that are just trigger words, buzzwords, and people want to keep that conversation going. However, when we heal at different stages, there has to be an action
Mm-hmm.
next. There has to be an action. How do we do? Okay, so we healed at this point. I'm no longer walking in my wound. How do now I have to learn how to live in this portion of healing that
Mm-hmm.
I've experienced so that I'm not repeating, so that I'm not going back. And type 1 second, y'all, the coach
Hey, brother.
certified just vulnerability is in the building. Hey, Justin, it's good to see you,
I
bro.
miss
What's
you, bro.
good? Did you finish working? He said he just finished working. Well, we hope that you're going, we miss you on this side. So we need you to grace us with your presence real soon, real soon. Glad you stopped in. Glad that you popped in. Glad that you were here. Thank you for everybody coming in tonight, as we are preparing to wrap up this conversation. It has been great. We could sit here all night, not going to, but we could stay here all night. But I really appreciate the conversation. I hope that, all right. He says, yes, ma'am. All right. I love it when Justin says, yes, ma'am. I don't even know why, but I just do. Just love it. Appreciate it. Bro,
I don't
that's
even
love,
think I
bro. We
spoke to
love
him.
him.
But I was gonna say I don't think I even spoken to him
So,
on in the messenger. I haven't even talked to him in a minute. So
oh, he
yeah.
said he intended on getting here today. We know that listen, this man works like
He works
9,000 jobs. He is the jack of all trades, master serve even more. Okay, everything he does well. And so we are so proud of him because, again, he has achieved his certification as a life coach, just like Coach Steele. And I got next. So I'm looking forward to celebrating when that day coming real soon. When, you call me Coach Dawn, Coach Lady Dawn, Coach B, Coach whatever. But we're working on that and looking forward to it. But getting back
Well,
to our
he's
topic
actually
tonight, talking
from
about
Florida.
healing is
He's
a
from
choice. It is.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
he's
he
actually from
listen.
Richmond.
We about work. We are about doing this work. Okay, it's about doing this work. Hold on, let me see what he said. He said, "What's amazing is I just wrote a piece that connects to what I've heard so far." Yeah, Reverend Coach. Okay, all right. Come on, me. You talking
Exactly.
about me? We
Yeah,
call me
he's talking
Reverend
about
Coach.
he's talking about you. He ain't talking about me.
I can't, I can't help myself. I can't help myself. Y'all are, I'll be that. I'll be Reverend Coach. I like it. He said, okay, see, there he goes, saying my favorite words. Yes, ma'am. Okay, I'll be that. I'll gladly be Reverend Coach. It kind of pulls all the things I am together. So I love it. So yeah, y'all will have to refer to me as Reverend Coach at that point because my bro said so. Um, but as we continue to talk about this point of healing being a choice, what we hope you walk away from this conversation tonight with is number one, none of us are exempt. We all go through damage moments of life. We all go through the vicissitudes and the circumstances. We all experience it. Don't think that because a person shows up having had it all together. That's right. He said, and that's the bottom line. We all, everyone you see, we may wear it differently, but we have all experienced the brokenness that brings us to the place where we have to acknowledge that healing is needed. Keeping in mind again that life does not stop to let you catch your breath so
Yeah.
that you can heal. Healing is an active motion. Again, it is a what is a choice. You have to decide that in spite of what I'm still yet experiencing, and I have not finished what I was going through before, I still choose to get up. I still choose to make this step today. Yes, I understand now insult has met with injury, and now they are both in my life. But even with that, with the weight of the pain, I have to even make a more intentional, as Coach Theo says, choice
Mm-hmm.
about getting up from here and not letting the weight of my problem be what suppresses me or overwhelms me to the point where I remain broken or in my broken space.
Yeah.
Another point, choose to acknowledge the red flags, the orange flags, the green, white, yellow, whatever color your flag is, if it is sparkles with rainbow sprinkles, whatever it is, acknowledge it,
Yeah.
embrace it, and above all, guard your heart above all things. Because
Yeah.
when you do make the choice to guard your heart, because when you do, it will be less damage that you have to try to fix and what heal from later. Also, do not allow yourself to become a participating victim
Yeah.
and then want others to pacify or condone the state that you're in. Yes, it happened. Yes, you experienced it. Yes, it was hurtful.
Mm-hmm.
You are not the only one.
Yeah.
If I got up, then it proves that getting up is an option that you have to what? Choose. As
Yeah.
again, healing is what? A choice. Lastly, above all things, let's not commiserate as Coach Theo said. If we're going to come together and make a choice to do anything, let it be the choice to heal, not the choice to commiserate with others who are experiencing the same pain. We're not going to trauma bond. We're not going to have the pissing contest of pain. We're not going to, connect over our wounds. Not going to compare scars and war wounds. We're going to choose to accept that it happened, and let's help each other figure out how to get up out of here. Maybe you're a little further in your healing journey than someone else. If you are, share what helped you at the appropriate time.
Mhm.
Do not discount anyone else's journey, because we all have to get there. We all have to get to a place of knowing. And lastly, this ties into what Dr. ND said and also what Coach Theo touched on and said. When you're choosing healing and you choosing yourself, well, when you're choosing healing, I will say this: you lose nothing choosing you except the option of losing you. I'm going to say it again, and maybe I'll say it this way. The only thing you lose by choosing yourself is the option of losing yourself.
Mhm.
And that's what we don't want.
Yeah.
That's what we don't want. At the end of the day, we don't want anything or anyone to put us in a space where we are now losing ourselves.
Yeah.
If you are in that space, please choose you and start by getting to the root of what the issue is so that you can heal whole from the bottom up. So,
Mhm.
with that being said, I want to thank you all for joining us on tonight for our second week in January 2026. This conversation of healing is a choice, featuring our very own Coach Theo's brand, Coach Theo and her brand, of course. We want to thank, of course, our lovely Dr. ND, who always comes in and drops some gems, some nuggets, and some jewels. Every now and then, she may give you a heavy rock, might be a boulder, but it'll keep you until. Sometimes we need that. We need that sometimes. And of course, I love being your Thursday night host, Lady Dawn B, your favorite girl, aka Reverend Coach. Soon coming. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, share, hit that thumbs up button on your way out if you didn't on your way in. Join us next week. We're going to be I'm looking forward to this conversation. We were going to have Dr. Elaine Sanders, but I messed up the dates. So I believe she'll be coming up the following week. But guess what? Next week's conversation is going to be dope. And I hope
Mhm.
everyone shows up for it. Our topic is fumble recovery. Who dropped the love ball? Hmm.
Ooh, okay.
We gonna come through. We gonna come through. Justin says, "Oh my God, I can't wait for y'all to read the piece. It's proof we are on the same. We're in the same space always. And
Same.
blessings. Mommy needs the timeout. Listen, y'all, you don't want to miss this conversation next week. Fumble recovery. Who's ready to be with somebody? Who is ready to be loved right the first time? We ain't talking about spinning the block. In football, that there's a thing called a fumble recovery. Who dropped the ball and didn't that happen in love? People drop you the first time and they want to come back and you fumbled me and now you want to recover. Why would I trust you twice with me to hurt me once? I don't think so. So, looking forward to having that conversation. Hope you will all tune in, bring a friend. We look forward to seeing you then, and we hope that you all have a great, great rest of your week. Love you so much. See you next week. Good night, everybody.